continue.
Thank you, Barbara. So, good morning, everyone. As Barbara said, my name is Cheryl McCants, and I know some of you I have yet to meet. And what we're going to do this morning is talk about ways to find funding, specifically as it relates to nonprofits, and specifically as it relates to the current environment that we're in, which is really a virtual world. So, a little bit about me. I am the president and CEO of Impact Consulting Enterprises. Been doing this for so long that I've been able to be recognized for it. So a variety of accolades. One of the ones that I am the most proud of is that I, along with a group of other cohorts, I am considered a leader of change for America. And that particular recognition is designed to identify ways to have public and private collaboration, which is a lot of what we need right now, given everything that's going on. So what is happening, right? So if you look down the streets, if you take a look down Park Avenue, you wonder, like, where is everybody? We know that if you want to have a networking function, the number of people that can participate is limited. If you want to do networking, relationship building, make sure you're 6 feet apart, right? So how does that work? And as we all know, a lot of the more traditional fundraising mechanisms via galas or socials, but I need to go to Montclair to get my cider. So I'm going to do that, Barbara, as well. So a lot of what we have normally been doing in the nonprofit space is on hold or has changed. So the question is, what do we do? And that's what I want to talk about today. So we're going to talk about ways to leverage resources. And I'll share some language with you and some sourcing strategies, and also discuss quick and easy tips on communication, because words are so important, particularly now when you don't have the ability to have in-person contact with individuals or organizations. I'll give an overview of strategic funding strategies and also identify resources for grants and grant writers. And before I go on, I want to thank my team. I did not put this program together alone. I never do this in a vacuum. And so, to Team Impact, I know some of you are on the call, not everybody could make it, but I thank you all for helping us be able to share our resources with others. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, you'll see through there, there'll be a few tips, and there'll be some basics, and we'll talk about language, we'll talk about funding opportunities. So the first tip I want to share is be the orange in the bowl of apples. And what I mean by that is you really want to know your why. Simon Sinek has a great series and book about know your why. And what we might have to do now is rework your organization's why. And what I'm getting at is people will not necessarily give funds to you because of how you help the underprivileged, or the fact that you help the underprivileged, but they will give you money because of why you do it, your passion. And so a simple example is there are lots of organizations that have opened up recently with regards to the Black Lives Matter protests. And there are bail funds that are being set up for the unjustly incarcerated. However, you'll probably find that individuals are more likely to give to an organization that has a commitment to social justice versus an organization that has a bail fund for the unjustly incarcerated. So the commitment for social justice is really the organization's why. So why do we have a bail fund for the unjustly incarcerated? Because we're committed to social justice. So that's just one little tip. There'll be a few others as we go along. However, I strongly recommend that you think of your why. It's the emotion that gets people to give. And it's not how or what, but why. And that why, I've been working on my why for over 30 years. So it's not something that once you figure out you've got it, it's done. It continues to grow and morph, but really be the orange in the bowl of apples. So, all right, so how do we find funding? I got 3 simple steps for you, and they're simple steps, but they require commitment, dedication, and might not be so simple processes. But the first one is research. Get online and follow the breadcrumbs and watch industry leaders. So what I mean by that is you want to see who the big players in your space are, see where their funding comes from, and watch what they're doing. I'll give you some examples of that. We're going to focus on 6 industries and everything from arts and faith-based organizations to business nonprofits, as well as health and medical, and obviously community-based organizations. So I'll give you some specifics after I go through these first 3 steps. And remember, use that Q&A section to ask questions, or so that Barbara can get to me, and then we'll answer your questions at the end of this. So after you've done your research, the next one is pretty simple, right? Follow the money. So here are the areas that we're going to discuss. And that is, I do have a meme. That is my marketing mama meme. And so you'll see her periodically. And I would strongly suggest that you do as she says and follow the money. So whether you are community-based, arts, health and medical, professional or business related organizations, education and training, or faith-based, no matter where you are, you want to do your research and you want to follow the money. And then the next thing that you want to do is to recalibrate your fundraising plan, recalibrate your donation plan. So what I mean by recalibrate is you want to ensure that you've got something built into your program that will connect with essential workers. You want something built into your program that will focus on social justice. And please keep in mind, virtual works. I was talking with a client yesterday, and she was planning to have an in-person event. She postponed it, and I was explaining to her that you can still do business just like we are right here today, virtually. So virtual works, and the key to a successful virtual event or virtual webinar or virtual meeting is that you are sharing your story. So that goes back to understanding your why. So you can't really tell your story if you can't tell your why. And you've got to be candid and you've got to be authentic, because people do want to give. You will find that organizations, corporations, individuals, giving is up despite the economy that we're in, and they want to give, but they want to feel involved. They want to feel vested. There are still some silent investors, yes. However, the majority of the funds that are becoming available and that are being retweaked now require a sharing of the why, to be candid about the story and to be authentic.